So it's a little windy out, so I thought I'd do it inside my truck beside our hybrid fall rye demo plots here. What you need to know before planting a hybrid fall rye, they're sold by the unit. So a unit is 1,000,000 live seeds. So when you plant, say, 0.8 of a unit per acre, which is kind of the old planting rate, the new planting rate's like 1 unit per acre. You're planting 1,000,000 live seeds. The reason we kind of went up to that 1 unit, or suggesting that, is as the season gets a little bit later, so not necessarily now in late August, but by mid-September, 0.8 of a unit per acre, that crop doesn't quite grow enough to tiller out enough, and still you don't have enough plants per square foot to manage a really bad winter. So suggesting a little higher seeding rates just to mitigate poor stands or stands that are on the edge of being good. So what you can do to get a better stand, slow down your seed drill. Plant at 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 is my perfect one. If you can water it up, sure. If you don't have moisture or it's variable, either make sure it all gets into moisture or none of it gets into moisture so that it all grows at the same time when you eventually do get rain or snow to germ and grow that crop. Use rates, 0.8 of a unit per acre, that can mean 60 to 80 pounds per acre use rates, even up to 90 pounds per acre use rates. All the hybrid ryes go out fully treated, fungicide, insecticide. That helps with winter survival and create an even stand. As far as stubble goes, you can plant it on pea stubble. We've actually planted it on pea stubble in a dry year and been successful even after using Viper. Not a recommendation, but just our experience on dry years where we put rye behind peas, or of course lentils if you have a same group 2 kind of thing. So not a recommendation though, because there maybe is some risk that we aren't seeing. So other stubble could be canola stubble or even barley stubble, other cereal stubble that won't overwinter. So if you do use barley stubble, try and get that crop growing a little bit so the barley grows a little so that you can kill it off. So if you can get it growing a little, give it a harrow, give it a water if you have irrigation, get that growing, get it killed, and make sure that seed bed is nice and good. Take the time. It's still early this year. 2023 has allowed us a little bit of time. And get that crop growing, get a pre-burn done, just glyphosate, or there is broadleaf residuals that are registered for ahead of fall rye. And if you plant now, late August, early September, sometimes you don't even need to go in next year for a herbicide or just a broadleaf spray. So you can go in there and do a fall residual, especially for canola ground. You don't want those canola volunteers crowding things out. Last year we had some customers with barley volunteers that were crowding out their rye, and you could see it where the straw was dropped to bale versus where it wasn't. It impacted the rye differently. So that's something that's important. Fertility, I like putting down all the phosphorus and nitrogen in the fall, in the seed row and then mid row band, or however you're putting down your nitrogen. If you do it in the spring, the rye grows so fast, you can't get it on early enough, you can't get your rain, irrigation's not on, and then you just don't get that crop growing fast enough in the springtime or the nitrogen is not available to the rye crop like it would be a winter wheat crop. So you want to get your nitrogen on this fall if you can, or at least the majority of it. We don't really suggest using ESN, which with winter wheat, that's great. But with fall rye and even Arcadia triticale, I would probably suggest not, because it's not going to be available early enough when that nitrogen use curve on rye crops is much higher. Evenness is important because of ergot risk. The more even your crop is, the less risk for ergot there is. As far as planting timings, you could plant, if you're in central regions of Alberta and Saskatchewan, you could probably start planting now, kind of that August 20th, 25th onwards. And in the southern regions, the 25th onwards, you're good to go. Last year, the earlier planted crops, because of that late fall, seemed to almost get too big. It's hard to predict what the fall is going to do, but I would suggest, in a perfect world, September 1st to 10th in southern Alberta. But if you have time and you want to get going, I would say August 25th onward. We've had some fantastic crops where they tiller out in the fall, suppress all the weeds, and give you a lot of tillers and big crops. Lodging can become a risk when you have more tillers, but that's something to manage for in season next year. As far as varieties go, KWS Serafino has been the best hybrid fall rye we've seen, grain or forage, in all of our demos and comparisons and trials. So right now, Serafino is where it's at. Seeds available. You can get it bulk, in totes, We got some 35 unit tote bags on the floor of the warehouse right now. Of course, you can get it in bulk, and we can line up shipping for you if need be. Oh, as well, Hybrid Fall Rise and that Tadius triticale are certified seed use only programs, so you got to sign a grower agreement saying no farm safe seed on the hybrids and on that Tadius triticale. So booking seed right now and shipping seed right now.